So I made homemade pretzels this week.
Oh, how fancy.
Um, and like I did a pretty good job with it. Like I got that double twist going on.
Yeah.
But I can't get the parchment paper really off of it.
Oh, no.
So I'm wondering how much parchment paper do you think I can eat before I get sick?
Well, it's natural, right? Like, it comes from trees. You could probably eat all of it.
I think there's a wax on it. Like,
Oh, well. That's fine. Wax is natural, too.
is it?
Yeah.
I don't feel like that's true.
Wax is 100% natural.
If it's beeswax, maybe.
Waxes are large, and they are large? What do you mean? Natural wax is derived from animals and plants and petroleum. If it's used in cooking, it's going to be natural wax. Synthetic waxes, which are artificially made. I'm assuming most candles that you find in the store are synthetic waxes. But anything used in cooking, like parchment or wax paper, is usually going to be natural.
Kind of tastes synthetic to me.
Well, I don't know what to tell you, bud. I once made dumplings, right? And they said that you could get a special paper, but I don't live in China, so I don't have that special paper because America sucks. So I used, I think, like a lettuce leaf instead. Like I put lettuce leaf on the bottom and steamed the dumplings from below. But then there was like lettuce on the dumpling and I couldn't get it off. And I'm like sitting there like trying to rub it off and it just would not come off of the dump. It was rough. It was a rough experience. Wow. And then you had that like latent lettuce flavor, which I didn't like because it was like steamed lettuce. You know what I mean? Like it's not like you're biting it right off the romaine heart, you know?
Yeah.
It's like steamed and cooked and weird. Lettuce shouldn't be cooked.
I'm really sorry that happened to you.
Yeah.
I think we should look for some divine intervention to help you get over that. Let us pray. Welcome to the Garlic Boys podcast, where we treat friendship like a good recipe treats garlic. You can never have too much of it. We're your hosts. I'm Connor O'Connor.
And I'm definitely drinking just tea. Like there's nothing else.
Don't you have plans after this?
I have work after this.
Dude.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Work is in several hours. By then, it'll be out of my system entirely, and my body will have metabolized it. It's fine. We're also eating pizza for dinner, baby. We got not a frozen pizza. It was a refrigerated pizza at Aldi. So, pretty excited. It's a huge pizza, too. Like, it's like you get the extra large at like Cafaro's or something. That's about the size. Like it's huge. It's pretty big. I don't know why.
Cafaro's. What is Cafaro's? I need you to explain yourself immediately.
I think it's a small local pizza chain. Not like they have a few stores in the area, so it's not like it is a chain. It's not just like one store, you know, like Foxburg Pizza, you know. That's in Foxburg, and that's it. There is a few around the area, but it might just be like Midwestern PA. Do you ever think about how we're Midwestern PA?
I don't think we are.
We are 100% Midwestern PA. If Pennsylvania is a box like that, we're right here, which might be backwards for we are right on the edge in the middle.
That would make us Western.
Middle of the western side.
That's not what that means.
That's exactly what that means. What
No.
do you think? What do you think? Why no?
Because the midpoint is like Harrisburg, maybe.
The middle of the state, yes, but that would be middle PA.
The western part is
on
Pittsburgh.
the west,
So
which
the
is
midwestern
Midwest.
part would be somewhere in between the middle and the western part.
No, I disagree.
That's what Midwest means.
No, Midwest means in the middle of the West.
Yeah.
The middle of the West. We're in the middle of the West.
But your middle is north and south, not west.
What?
We're on the west side of Pittsburgh or Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
But you're saying we're at the middle north and south wise. The middle of the west would be if you went straight down and then went over to the west to the midpoint. You're on the wrong axis, bro.
I'm gonna have to disagree with you there.
You could disagree all you want. The math majors in the comment section are going to tell you you're wrong.
Sure, they can tell me that I'm wrong, but that doesn't mean I am.
The
entire internet can tell me that I'm wrong, Connor, and I'm going to stay stubborn as a mule right here.
What are you, a Republican?
I think we should switch the animals, the mascots for the party.
That'd be good.
Yeah. So then we could call them asses, and we would be politically correct.
I think we're still politically correct.
Yeah, fair enough.
Though I think you might have to go jackass, I think is the correct term for a donkey.
That's even better. I don't know. Jesus called them asses once or twice. Not Republicans, but I'm sure he would if he was alive.
Okay, so when the U.S. was expanding,
yeah,
past the first original 13 colonies,
correct,
they were going out west.
Uh-huh.
But they were able to continue further past the Mississippi River, which used to be like the furthest they could go with
right.
the Louisiana Purchase and everything.
Right.
And so everything past that was known as the West. And that's how the middle of the country was known as the Midwest.
Well, we can agree.
It's just like how the
Can
like
we just
Afghanistan, Iraq, all of those countries are known as the Mid-East because there's
right.
more east after it.
Right. And I see that. I see what you're saying. But can we just kind of come to a compromise here and make it like a bi-weekly thing or like a bi-monthly thing? Because what does that mean? Does that mean every other week or does that mean twice a week? It could mean either. So maybe Midwest could mean either the middle of the West or the midway point between the Central and West.
We could, if it meant that, but it doesn't.
But it could. I mean, languagely, you know, in the United States, English speaking is very confusing, and I feel like the language here works. Whether or not people use it doesn't mean it doesn't work.
Yes, but you are fully on the vertical axis, not the horizontal axis.
Doesn't matter. It's
yes,
still the
it
middle.
does.
It's still the middle of the West, Midwest.
But what you're focusing on is not the West. You're focusing on
the
north
side.
and south.
It's the west side of the state. So if you're gonna, if I was talking about Erie, I would say the Northwest, right? If I was talking about Waynesburg, I would say the Southwest, right? So we're in the West, so we're in the middle of what is the West, so I say the Midwest.
No.
All right, let's move on. Let's
it's
move
the
on.
Central. It's central.
Uh-huh.
Mid is a linear path.
Mid is what you are being right now.
I am highly heightened. Don't you dare call me mid. I will argue with you for the rest of this episode.
What did you do this week? How was your week, bud? It was great until now, honestly.
It wasn't actually.
Oh no, what happened?
Financial trust.
Dude, same.
Strife. Is that strife? Is that
strife. Yeah, that's a good word.
Just kept doing things to try to just pay one bill.
Right.
And then 3 other bills came out, or like the money wouldn't be in at a certain time and things like that. And I don't need to get out of the water. I just don't want to be drowning.
Yeah, for sure. I don't mind treading water. Right.
Right. I can tread for a long time.
Yeah. Mia did her taxes this week, and apparently her last job didn't take out anything for federal taxes, and she had no idea. So she now owes like $3,000 to the federal government, the IRS, for her taxes this week, or for her taxes this year, for last year technically. So yeah, I hear you. And then we had to pick up her car, which was another $1,000. And now we have to buy her new tires because her front tires are very, very low. So I hear you. Did anything else
low
happen?
On air or like tread?
On tread.
Okay.
Yeah. I could fill them up. It's tread.
See, again, this is your improper use of language. If you said bald, I would have known what you were talking about.
Very low. The tread is low. That is a term that people use. That is a phrase that people use
never
often.
once. If somebody says, "Hey, my tire is low," that means you need to put air in your tire.
But it's not bald. I didn't say my tire's low. I said the tread is low.
No, you said the tires were low.
Okay. Again,
it's me recording. You can't say we'll agree to disagree when I have proof.
The tread on the tire.
Insert me listening to this later while we're editing and finding out I'm wrong.
The tread on the tire is low. It ain't bald yet, but it's so we can't really drive it. I mean, we can. We drove it home. And it did just fine, but like if there's any sort of inclement weather, if there's any water on the road, or any snow, we will die. So yeah, that's been fun. Although we did find some nice tires on Walmart.com, even though I shouldn't be buying anything from Walmart, but I don't really have a choice.
I was gonna say to look on like Facebook Marketplace and stuff like that.
Yeah, but it's hard to trust that, you know.
Well, that's why you go and look, and if they're not good,
yeah, but there could be hidden problems. I don't know, man. I'd rather just buy new tires. They're only like $90 each, and she only needs 2.
I guess that's not horrible.
Yeah, it's a front wheel drive car, so she only needs 2.
I still think about car problems in the incredibly expensive vein of owning a Cadillac.
Yeah, no, absolutely. My mom, she just bought a Hyundai Tucson that's like a couple years newer than mine, 2017 or something like that. And her tires, her tire size is a like special edition tire size. So she had to spend like $800 just to buy all 4 tires. Which isn't that, I mean, it's bad. That ain't great. But I know people spend a lot more for like truck tires and stuff like that. Like I just could not imagine. She might have actually spent over $1,000. I could be wrong. I don't remember. But it was a lot for 4 tires.
The tires I got on my truck were the lowest end I could get, and they were $140 each.
Oh, jeez.
Luckily, I got one that was a used tire, and that was only $40. But that also, I then had to get like, that's the one that caused me problems. I had to get patched and like things like that. So like, it wasn't a fantastic situation. It got me where I needed to go.
Yeah.
But like this week, I had to get my oil changed because I hadn't done that since I got the car.
Mm-hmm.
I was told it was every 10,000 miles, but apparently it's every 3,000.
It is different for every car. You should look in your manual if you have.
I didn't get a manual with this car.
What? You should have.
I didn't buy it from like.
Yeah, but you still
Like, I didn't get it straight from the factory. I was a used car lot.
I know, but every car has a manual, and people usually leave it in the car, which is why I would think that the car would have a manual.
No, it's automatic.
So I hate you.
So
you have you looked it up? Because again, every car is different. So some are going to be 3, some are going to be 5, some are going to be 8, some are going to be 10, some are going to be 20,000.
I didn't have to look it up. Valvoline gave me a sticker to remind me. Yeah, I know. Don't listen. I'm not the guy. I'm not that guy. Okay. First of all, I'm not fitting under a car.
Oh, fair. Yeah.
I'm not. Okay.
To be fair, I'm barely fitting under a car. You know what I mean? Like, I tried to fit under my car, and your car is smaller than mine, or at least lower to the ground.
Even getting lifts and like doing that, I'm not that guy. I have friends that can do it, but I'm not going to bother them. And so I'm going to go to the Valvoline because they also fill up all of my other fluids. And while they were there, they figured out my engine filter was in desperate need of being replaced. Do you ever see one of them?
Yeah.
It's like the size of a standard book. And there was like
show you how bad it was?
Yeah, there was like a 1/4 inch of dust.
Yeah.
The entire thing, and one of the sides started to melt. And
did you know cabs have filters too that you have to change, that you need to change every once in a while?
Yeah.
I didn't know that until I don't remember. Someone was my heat stopped working again. And the guy at the shop was like, yeah, you just got to check your cabin filter. You got to check a couple other things, see if they need, fixed or changed or whatever. And it should fix the problem. I was like, okay, I don't know how to do that.
But so typically when I got my oil changed with the truck, it was like $125. And that was like for the premium synthetic. It's the only thing that that the truck would take. It was like the highest end they could do. And it's like, blah, blah, blah. So I get there and they're like, okay, here's the one we recommend. It's this synthetic. It's going to be $120 for it. I went, no. What else you got? So like, well, we have this one that's like $50, but it's a natural oil and you'll have to replace it after 3,000 miles. Then okay, what else do you? I'm not going to come back that quickly. I'm not going to remember. So what else you got? And like, well, we have one for like $80. But it will void your warranty on your car if you have one. I was like, I don't have a warranty.
You think I have a warranty? You think I'm that rich?
You think this is new? It is 2012, baby. So I got that, and then they found out the engine filter, and then I needed more oil than I actually had. Like it was because I needed 6 quarts of oil in my tank, or whatever, instead of the 5, and so it was like $120 anyways.
Yeah,
but like it runs now. It's not like it wasn't before, but like I'm not scared of driving it now. Which with doing some delivering of foods now to make some extra money feels better.
Yeah, for sure. Do you get reimbursed for gas, or do you have to supply your own gas
when doing food delivery?
Yeah,
you have to supply your own gas.
Boo!
But I was out for 4 hours on Tuesday, and I used only half a tank.
Yeah,
which I just filled up yesterday for a full tank. It was only $49. That's with gas going up 6 cents at my local station.
I've had to fill up probably this week because of all the driving Mia and I have been doing since we only have one car. Now we have 2, but I'm still thinking we're going to be driving one car predominantly until we get tires. I've had to fill up my gas tank at least 4 times just this week from almost empty. I hate it. I'm so poor. You have no idea. I know you do. But the listeners, man, you got no clue. You might. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I fill up maybe once a week, because of how far it takes for me to drive from where I live to work and then drive back. I tend not to do as much extra as I can. But typically it's if I fill up on a Friday, that next Friday I can stretch it out to fill up on it again. Especially with my pay schedule, which just works out a lot better to do it that way.
Yeah.
But once I get married, I probably won't have to do that as much because now Autumn and I work at the same place together.
Woohoo!
And so I get to work with her.
Carpool.
And we get to carpool probably. And Mondays and Wednesdays we go and do young adults and youth ministry, and she does kids ministry. And so like don't have to drive separately those days. Like she'll come with me. So it should getting married is gonna make my life so much easier. Like I know like people are like, oh, there's so many more things. It's like nah, I can tell you right now, my life is gonna be so much easier when I'm married.
Yeah, 100%. We currently live together, Mia and I, so it really isn't gonna be that much different once we're married. But like with you guys living apart, it'll be drastically different, but I think in a good way. Mia is trying to get a job currently in the town that I work in, and that would be great because then we can just carpool yet again. But we'll see. Because I guess it's a very busy market in this town. So,
I mean, like right now we live 50 minutes apart from each other, and so like it's easier to meet in the middle, like at work, and like see each other there. But she'll also come over here. I want to go over to her house a lot more, but like she prefers coming here. How do I put this without it sounding bad?
Share her deepest, darkest secrets. Share them. Share them on the podcast.
Look, she likes coming over here more because her mom's at her place, and like, yeah, we're gonna be living with her mom, but like, it's just a little less. Oh, my mom's looking over my shoulder here, and like when we're married, she won't have a reason to look over our shoulder. Everything's legal then.
Yeah.
Not that we're doing anything illegal now. I'm gonna keep digging myself a hole with her and our parents and friends. Listen, we have a belief system and we're holding to it.
That's good, buddy. That's good.
It's just sometimes it's nicer to be around your fiance's brother and be able to act like an adult when you don't have to be around your mom. And that's why she comes over here. I like going over to her house. I like her mom. Her mom's great.
Yeah.
I'm very excited for her to be mine. I'm not digging.
You're right. I am. I'm digging. I'll dig this hole for you, brother.
All right, Matt. There was a lot of TV that came out this week. And this is now the time where we see if Matt has watched any of it.
Speed run.
All right, starting with Tuesday. Did you watch either of the Daredevil episodes?
Yes. Oh, yeah. I watched them that night. I was so...
I watched 1.5. So let's talk about that first episode.
The way that just the first 2 freaking episodes have a hold, the death grip of my freaking heart. I hate it. I love it, but I hate it.
This is going to be a spoiler warning because I can't not talk about what happens in the first episode.
Yeah.
So spoiler for Daredevil Born Again. 5 minutes. That's all we get with our boy.
I'm actually, so I believe in the comics it was Karen that was supposed to die.
Right.
Which I'm very happy about that she didn't, right? Because I like Karen. She's one of my favorite characters in the show, but so is Foggy.
We had he was mentioned in an episode title about how Foggy was hot.
Yep.
And now he's cold.
Yep. I am very upset because he had such a glow up.
Yeah.
Well, not just for this, like just in life. He looks so good, man.
One thing what I'm kind of upset about with the whole situation is that they made such a big deal about the reshoots to bring back Karen and Foggy.
Right. And then
And then Foggy's dead, and Karen's out in California now because it's too much trouble for her to be around. It's like,
Yeah.
well, then you didn't bring them back. You gave a reason why they're not in the show.
They made a cameo. Is all they did. I think it's going to be great. And apparently Vincent D'Onofrio was saying something along the lines of Fisk is going to get a massive weight gain. I don't know if it's going to be muscle. I'm assuming it's going to be muscle. It's Wilson Fisk. But he's going to get a massive weight gain. I don't know if it was for this season or season 2, which they've already confirmed.
Oh, yeah.
For season 2, which just speaks to this show. Either they're very confident or it was so good, which it was so good. So I'm not. Now that I've watched the first 2 episodes, I'm still wary, right? I think I'm still gonna be wary for a little bit. I'm not nearly as hesitant on this show as I was. You know what I mean? Daredevil was, in my opinion, the best of the Netflix Marvel shows.
Yes.
The absolute best, and it was so good. I don't think they really dropped the ball fully in any season of the show. I think now that I've seen these 2 episodes that this is going to be just as good. I'm confident.
One reason I got fully confident in it is the fight scene in the bar. Mm-hmm. Just that whole fight between him and Poindexter. Like, it wasn't a oneer like the hallway fights usually are, but it was a knockdown brawl fight between them. What you want.
The fact that he just pushed him off the roof, though. Wow, like that. This show is I think it's gonna be even darker.
And I'm
here for it.
I love that because when he pushed him off, I was like, okay, he's dead. That's why Daredevil's gone.
Yeah,
because he got pushed to that limit, and he actually like got to his breaking point and like crossed that line. Well, Poindexter's not dead. Mm-hmm. Okay, well, Matt still felt like he had crossed that line.
Right, because he had intended to kill him.
Right. It's like, I didn't kill him, but I still wanted to, and that's why I can't do it. To me, that's so much more powerful than I crossed the line. It's like I was fully ready to deal with those consequences. They didn't come for me, but the next time they do, I just can't let there be a next time.
Yeah. Which is a direct I don't know if I should say direct. A complete flip of what happened in Invincible, if you have watched that.
Yes, I did watch that.
So we need to talk about this because it actually lines up very well here. Invincible decided that he felt all this guilt over killing
Engstrom
Levy. And then it turns out he wasn't actually dead. But then now he's feeling I have to end him so he doesn't do this again. Right? So like he's feeling the exact opposite. Instead of giving up as Invincible, he's like, I have to push even harder to stop this guy. And if that means killing him, that means killing him.
Well, I think there's also the idea of like he's so much more prepared for the fight this time.
Yeah.
And it's like Daredevil sees it as I need to stop and I need to I can't go further. And Invincible sees it, I need to get better so that that's not the option anymore.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because even in the end, Oliver wants to kill him, but he's like, no, I can't do it. And is still trying to like stop him from leaving. And you can see the surprise in his eye when he rips his arm off.
Mm-hmm.
And so like, I don't think he wanted to kill him. I still think he was on like no, I can't be a murderer. It was like, it's not because I can't do it. It's because I'm better than that.
Yeah.
And I think Matt uses his Catholic guilt of I'm not better than that. That is truly who I am.
If I am being 100% honest, I am not. This is going to sound really weird and probably terrible. I'm not 100% on board with the no killing rule. I know why some people have it. And if they let themselves cross that line, then maybe they'll keep doing it. You know what I mean? When it's unnecessary. So like, I see why the line is there. I get it. But at the same time, the whole, if I kill them, I'm just as bad as them. doesn't really stick with me, because if you kill them, you're saving 100% saving millions of lives.
The
You know what I
Batman
mean?
logic of I never killed the Joker because of what he did to Jason. It's like, well, he killed so many people.
Yeah.
You're not like, if you kill a murderer, the number of murderers in the world stays the same. Not if you keep killing murderers. Then
Yeah,
it goes down.
right.
Like it's a net gain
You're
for the
already a
first
murderer.
one.
Yeah, it's a net gain of nothing for the first one, right? Like you murder somebody, a murderer, that you're still a murderer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's still the murderer there.
But then you murder a murderer and it goes down. And then you murder another one.
Yep.
And like I get it, because like, oh, you want to develop a roster of villains and characters. Like Batman's Rogue Gallery is so iconic because these characters are tried to like be reformed or like are.
Like, I am a big reform person. Like if you know me personally, you know that I actually am a reform person. But I also know that there are people that refuse to be reformed. And I'm not saying that they can never be reformed. Like that's just not the Christian way, right? Like as both of us very well known on this podcast to be Christians, that's not the Christian way. Like everybody
redemption is available for all,
right? But like knowing what Hitler did, for example, I would not hesitate to go back and kill him. You know what I mean? Like
straight to jail.
But like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, looking back, it's easy, I guess, and when you're in the moment, it's hard. Like there are a lot of different factors that go into whether or not you should kill a villain who has killed multiple people, multiple as in anywhere from 2 to 6 trillion. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like there comes a point where the 15,000th chance is the one chance too many. You know what I mean? I don't know. It conflicts, I think, a bit with the Christian way, but at the same time, this is fictional, and villains like this, villains with superpowers, I should say, don't exist. So we don't really have to worry about that and superpowers and stuff like that. But there are villains in the world, and
when they're all super, none of them will be.
Right. So Daredevil, Invincible, pretty good episodes this week. Yes. The Rookie was on a brief hiatus. I believe they're coming back next week.
Yes, I was shocked that I didn't know that. I went to look for the episode on Wednesday and it wasn't there.
Yeah, I had to look it up and find out that they are releasing an episode on the 11th. On the 11th.
Have you given time to think about how you're wrong on your position in this argument on the Rookie?
No. What are we talking about? Are we talking about Seth?
I don't think Seth meant to kill them.
I 100% disagree. Like we can. Well,
I would like to talk about this as like actual people
on the pod. Yeah.
Well, not just like on the pod. I want to talk like talk to talk. Yeah. Because we were texting when we were talking about this. Do you want to give your argument first, and then I can break it down?
So, in the episode, we see Gray tell Seth that Lucy and Bradford are trapped in a fire area, right? And they need help, like immediately, right? So Gray tells Ridley, hey, call this in immediately for this area. Ridley goes over to his notes, flips through it, finds that area, that specific road that they were on, tears it out, sticks it in his pocket. Looks around, pretty sketchy, right? Looks around, make sure nobody saw him do that. And then continues on with his day. Does not call it in like he was supposed to. And in my opinion, that means, hey, I'm trying to get them killed. I'm trying to not call this in so that the fire department doesn't save them and lets them die. But they ended up surviving anyway. And he made some excuse when he saw them in the hospital, and he goes something along the lines of, "Oh yeah, I gave him an earful." And then when Bradford presses him and says, I'll give him a call myself," he's like, No. You don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. I handled it. You don't have to do anything. I handled it. It's good. It's good. Please don't call them. Please don't call them. Like that is, he wanted them dead. I cannot be swayed from this position.
You're missing one vital thing.
Okay, and what is that?
When it started, he was put in charge of like coordinating where there was fire rescue, what was being shut down, and everything. So he was told sometime before Gray came up to him that road wasn't safe to go down.
Right.
He wrote it down. That's why it was in the notebook. But then immediately got switched to one of the other phones and like sidetracked to something else. Then Gray told him, Gray came over to him and said, "Hey, Chen and Bradford went this way. See what you can do about helping them." And then he realizes, oh no, I never actually took care of that. That's why they're down this way. They're in danger because of my negligence. So let me hide the evidence that I was ever told it was bad.
Right.
So that when they get upset, I can be like, well, no one ever told me. I didn't know.
I think that loses weight though when you realize that Sergeant Gray specifically told him to call it in at that moment, right?
But he didn't say call it in when he found out that it was down. He said call it in. We know they're up there and they're in danger now. So he knew that the road was broken beforehand, forgot. Right. And then Gray tells him, hey, our people are up there now. He's covering his butt for not letting them know that they couldn't have gone up there in the first place. So it's not like they went up there and then he was told it was broken and was like, "Mwahaha, I'm not going to let them know." It was, oh crap, I didn't do that. And now we're seeing that pattern of lying from before. He's lying to now cover himself.
See, but he also like you see later in the episode that Sergeant Gray is the one calling about that road, about sending the fire rescue there so that they could pour water on that area. Like, I don't think he called about it at all, even after Sergeant Gray said to call about it.
Right, he didn't.
Right, but if Sergeant Gray tells him to call about something, he should call about it immediately to save his TO and the other guy. Right? Like
they were already up there at that point.
But they could have poured water on the area to slow the fire in their area.
They wouldn't have gotten there in time. That's why Gray was on the phone. Because that's what Gray was on the phone talking to them about.
Gray said specifically, the only thing I remember of his conversation was, I don't care if the water could kill them. I need you to pour it on the area now. That's all I remember of him saying in the conversation that he was having on the phone. I don't remember him saying anything about, like, they won't get there in time. And if anything, they wouldn't get there in time because Seth didn't call when Gray told him to call. I think we're just going to have to wait and see. I think they have been leading up this entire time to Ridley being something bad. I don't know what it is yet. I have my theories. And I have the theories of people online, but I feel like they're leading up to Ridley being something bad. And it has to do with Chen, in my opinion. Or it could have to do with Bradford, but it seems more likely that it has to do with Chen. Why? What is this?
We are going to be rewatching the scene. We will be right back.
All right. Okay. So, we're back. Listeners, dear listeners, we have just watched the episode. We
watched the full episode. We paused for 45 minutes in the middle of recording.
My light died, so now I have a new light. It's not as flattering. Okay, I see what you're putting down, right? Like you're telling me that he was, oh no, I got distracted and I'm gonna get in trouble. But I also see my point still, right?
Goodness.
No, listen. I see both of our points. I see both sides. And I can agree
on both sides.
I can agree how it looks with what you're saying. So like your point is what I'm saying here. Your point is 100% valid. However, I'm still thinking my point is viable as well.
I just don't see malice in his eyes in that moment. I see a kid who's scared that he just messed up in a big way.
Right. But I don't know.
Like career ending, maybe even thrown in jail way.
Right. Definitely career ending way. I don't know. There's still something about him. And it's not just the lying. Like
I'm not saying he can't be a serial killer.
Right.
Because we thought he was before this episode also proved that it wasn't him.
Yeah.
But like I don't see malice in him.
I saw something online. It might be unintentional or not unintentional. It might be coerced malice though. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't want to do it but is feeling coerced. I saw something along the lines of a theory that has not been proved. But the guy that Lucy dated a couple seasons back that put her in a barrel and tried to kill her, yeah. They pointed out that him and Ridley do look a little similar, right? I mean, obviously, as similar as two actors who are unrelated can look. And that it's a possibility, right, that they could be related and that he could be trying to finish the job, which is why he is seemingly kind of focused on Chen. I don't know. We'll see. The season has plenty more episodes. I think like 3 or 4, maybe 5 more episodes left. Probably 4. So we'll see how it all plays out. Maybe he's just terrible at lying and he is maybe he's just a big terrible liar. You know what I mean? Maybe he just lies all the time and tries to get out of getting in trouble by lying. You know, that is very much what it could seem like. But I feel like they're hinting at more throughout the episodes,
and that's understandable. I don't see the malice there, and it could just be like, oh, I'm a perpetual liar. I don't want to get caught, and like something might come from that then of like, oh, I'm now stuck in this loop, and then that's like the dramatic tension with him.
right?
I'm excited to find out.
Yeah.
If I'm wrong, this is going to be the best bait and switch that the show's ever done.
Yeah.
And I will be happy to be wrong in that moment then, because that's compelling TV. But in a non-hostile way, I think I'm not wrong. So,
all right, whatever. Oh, that's worse. Oh. This lighting.
not the blue one. Not the blue one.
Right. Well, that's white. Actually, that's white.
Oh.
And then this is like yellow, but I feel like it makes my face look.
Last show to talk about.
Oh, there's another one.
I finally started My Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man.
Oh, really?
I would just like to know that if those who are criticizing Invincible's animation, if they've watched The Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, because boy, is it garbage.
Okay, I don't think it's that garbage. I think they're going for a comic-y look at the same time.
And don't you love when your comic books go like they're animatronics? For those listening, if you've seen It's a Small World and it's just like kind of like buzzing around and its mouth is flapping, but nowhere consistent with the words. Like dubbed animes are better at matching up lips than this English cartoon is.
I agree. It wasn't perfect animation, but I think the story has been good. How far did you get in?
Episode 6.
Oh,
so
wow.
He just fought the unicorn.
Yeah, so you're pretty far in.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Oh, well, that's unfortunate. I enjoyed it a lot.
I don't see any reason why Tombstone is in the gang.
Yeah. I
That was forced.
if I'm being honest, I thought that the main gang leader was going to be Tombstone. He had the build, he had the, I don't know, the look, the face shape, whatever. He was an albino, which I guess is a pretty big difference there. But neither is the main guy. But I don't want to spoil too much. I don't know. It could be good or it could be bad if they continue that, which I know they will. But
I mean, Norman Osborn has a really weird energy.
really,
Dr. Whitmore, I think, is the Gremlin from the comics, and he's the one that clones Gwen Stacy.
Yeah.
And so, like, that's why he's creepy, and I get that.
He's
and
very creepy.
Paul F. Tompkins is doing a good job at voicing him. Shout out to Paul.
We got cool characters like Amadeus Cho, which could be very fun and exciting because I don't think they've really brought him in much, like in many projects. They did bring his mom into Age of Ultron. I do know that. But they haven't brought him into any projects or anything.
He was also name dropped, so like he technically does exist in the MCU.
Right. I hope they bring him in because with the merger with Smart Hulk being around and us not vibing with him too much right now, I think Amadeus Cho could be a suitable Young Avengers, replacement. But we'll see. They haven't really done too much as far as like leading up to him at all. So we have Scar. Is that his name?
Sakaar.
Sakaar
or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
The Young Avengers also typically has Hulkling.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Which is Wiccan's boyfriend, I think now husband.
Yeah.
Who is a Kree and not actually a Hulk, but he makes himself look like Hulk because that somehow Hulk is more socially acceptable than the Kree. Or not the Kree, Skrull. Actually, I think he's a Skrull like fusion, like mixed race.
Yeah, I mean that's more or less what
is that the term?
A mix of Kree and Skrull?
Maybe.
I know what you're putting down, and I think the listeners do too. I don't think we need to go into semantics here.
His one of his parents was a Skrull.
One of his parents was a mermaid, and the other parent was a minotaur, and he turned out to be a normal-looking human.
What? That sounds like a cool character.
That sounds like a terrible character. He's also got a bush next to him or something like that. I don't know.
He has a living bush named Strusel who helped raise him as a
living bush,
loving father.
Absolutely nothing. It's just best there. Friend. It's just there.
You're just jealous you can't speak to the bush. Because the bush only knows Minotaur.
Well, let me tell you something. I think my character could very well speak to bushes.
I might not be able to speak to the bush, but I'll give him.
All right. Well, so yeah, you're not loving Spider-Man, and that's okay. I enjoyed it a lot. I thought it was darker than your average, animated Marvel project, and I thought that was kind of a good breaking ground, right? Of like, holy crap, the Scorpion just killed that guy. You know what I mean? Like, that's great.
I don't know if I'm at that part. Is that part of the gang fight?
Pretty early on, yeah.
Okay.
That was like the first introduction of the Scorpion.
I was also babysitting while watching it, so I wasn't like
fair enough.
Super focused.
Back to a little bit before we finish up and get off the topic of TV shows. I apparently never watched Echo.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't love it, if I'm being honest, but it did give me more insight onto what happened with between Hawkeye and Daredevil Born Again with Wilson Fisk specifically.
Right.
It came out and I was like, oh, sweet, a new Marvel show. I'll go watch it. And then I just never did, apparently. So I just finished it. It was very, I don't know, it was boring. It was slow. I didn't really enjoy it that much. I thought Echo was cool. I think Echo's a decent character. And seeing more of Fisk was fun.
It was cool to set up his story for Daredevil, but like honestly, I sometimes forget that it happened too.
Yeah, right. Like I don't know. I think a couple months ago I watched like the first 3 episodes, and it's only like 6 episodes long, so it's not even that long. I watched like the first 3 episodes and then was bored and kind of started watching other things. And then just recently on my day off, I was like, oh, I should probably finish that. And then I finished it. I'm like, oh, this ties in so well with Daredevil Born Again.
I look, as someone who will defend Captain America and Brave New World, it's just a lot of what Marvel, I'll reiterate it, like a lot of what Marvel's putting out nowadays, like people are liking it less because I think it's lost the hype that phases 1 through 3 had of Marvel. And people are starting to kind of just be like, oh, okay, this is more towards normal television now, and less like an event thing, because I think the feel of Endgame was so huge that we're still chasing that high.
Yeah.
And it's now like whatever your favorite movie was that you saw for the first time as a kid, and you're like chasing that experience now with every movie you watch. Some do like exceed that and like, wow, this is better than Cars or whatever, and like that makes this a really great movie. Like I just watched The Wild Robot and it felt incredible to watch. Like I loved that movie. It sucks that it was passed over for best animated feature at the Oscars.
Yeah.
It was nominated, but Flow won, which okay, yeah, I mean it was good.
Flow was.
Yeah. It was good and like it was cool animation, but
there were a few blunders, I think, this year at the Oscars. Quite a few.
What do you mean? Actually, let's talk about that in a second. But like,
okay,
I think like we're starting to lose that, and it's not because there is like fatigue from superhero movies. It's literally just we're looking at it like movies and TV now, and not as what it was.
Yeah, and that's fair. I think kind of what you were pointing at is like now there's just so much, and they're very much pushing. At least they were a couple years ago, like when WandaVision and Moon Knight and all the other TV shows, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, when all those came out sequentially, like 1 month to the next, to the next, to the next, and it was all filled with Marvel projects. That was like so overwhelming, and I was able to do it, right? You know, because I'm dedicated to this. But like for the person who's not dedicated, who doesn't really want to watch everything, it's so confusing, and it's so like I like the shows, I love the shows even, but I feel like they should not be so important, if that makes sense, because I know there are people who just don't want to watch them, who don't want to watch TV shows, who don't care about the characters, and so they're just not going to get into it. So while I think there can be ties, I feel like they just shouldn't be as important. Like an entire character story arc happens in the show, and if you don't watch it, you're going to be so confused in the next movie when they're dead, or when they have achieved godhood. You know what I mean? Like something like that. You're going to be like, when did this happen? And then you're going to have to watch the movie, be confused, and then go back and watch the show or watch a recap or something like that. And then I just feel like they shouldn't be as important. They're good shows. I feel like what they've done so far has been excellent, But for the people that don't want to sit down and watch the shows, that just want to go to the movies and watch a fun movie, I feel like they shouldn't be as integral to the story.
And sort of now that's where we're getting into the realm of these are comic books, because your Avengers movies, your big tent poles, those are like your events in comics, like Civil War. If you didn't watch Ant-Man, you're not going to know who Ant-Man is.
Yeah.
If you don't read the Civil War book, you don't know what's going on with these characters at the same time and how they're getting, like, you're getting a deeper understanding and a deeper vibe from them on how they're dealing with this story. And so now when you're getting like side projects and things like that, you're getting that background information you would get if you literally sat there and bought every single issue and tie-in comic from that big overarching story and book.
Right.
Because most event books are only 6 issues long. But if you're not reading all of the other information, you're not getting the full breadth of the story.
Right. Like I'm trying to read Secret Wars right now, like the new Secret Wars. And it starts with early Fantastic Four. Like I think 2012 is where I'm reading right now. And Secret Wars, I think it was 2016 maybe.
Yeah.
This new one. So like I'm reading 4 years worth of comics, and they highlight like the important ones and stuff like that, which is fine. But like it's a lot of comics to read. I have to read all of the Fantastic Four leading up to it, like every piece of information. I have to read all of, I don't even remember the other stories. The other ones that are in the list that I have to read. But like these are important books to read, and you have to read them to really fully understand. Because in comics it's a little easier because you can reference specific comics. So when you're doing the big crossover Secret Wars event, you can say this happened in a little footnote. This happened in Fantastic Four issue 12, or something like that. And you go back, you read issue 12 to kind of understand what happened, and then you continue reading.
See, that's why what they got to do then is when they upload the movies onto Disney Plus,
put a footnote.
It's like there's
there's
a reference to something. It's like a little yellow text box comes at the bottom, just like in comics. It says, "See episode 4 of Secret Invasion," to see what this is in reference to.
See, if I'm being honest though, this is exactly why I stopped watching the Arrowverse. It got a little soap opera-ish, you know what I mean? Like it got a little dramatic for my taste too. But at the same time, it was every single season there was a crossover, and I didn't really love Legends of Tomorrow. Like I watched it and I liked some of it. I didn't love it, so like it wasn't on my list to watch right away. But then I would go watch Arrow, and he'd be like, crossover event. You have to watch episode 7 of DC Legends of Tomorrow to understand anything that's happening. Like, I don't wanna watch every show. I want to watch the shows that I like and have the characters from the other shows make cameos. That's it. And I don't mind the crossover events, but I don't want to have to watch everything to understand.
And that is how life is, though.
Yeah.
That's how movies are made nowadays.
I do. I guess I kind of miss the days where like there was 4 heroes and you just had to kind of watch each of their movies and then the big team up movie, and that's it. That's it. There's so many heroes in the Marvel universe and I love them, but like maybe what we should do is start phasing out, which we kind of have already started doing, but phasing out characters and bringing in the new characters. And maybe we do that a little bit quicker.
Yeah, but I don't like the new characters.
But suck it up. They're going to be
know
great.
them.
I don't care. They're new characters and they're good. And we're going to enjoy them just as much as we enjoy the other ones.
No.
Buddy, your autism is showing.
No. Let's talk about the Oscars.
Okay. This has to be quick because I think we're way past.
You're way past.
Okay.
You're forgetting the 45 minutes we spent watching.
Yeah.
The episode. So Anora won Best Picture.
Yeah.
and I've never seen it. I don't know if it's good or not. I can't tell you. And also, Mickey Madison won Best Actress. I think it won Best Editing, Best Cinematography, and Best Director. The director of the movie, it's the first time somebody's won four awards in one night since Walt Disney did.
Wow.
In the 1950s, I think 57. But it's also the first time it was won for the same movie because Walt Disney won his for 4 different movies.
Okay.
Nice. So, Anora won big basically all night. Flow was Best Animated Feature. Dune was Best Special Effects. And
I need to watch Dune Part 2. Actually, I need to finish Dune Part 1.
I think it had another one too, but Conclave was Best Adapted Screenplay, which I think I've mentioned Conclave before on here. Go watch it; it's great. Okay. Conclave, Dune 2, and Wicked were the only Best Picture nominations I watched this year.
Nice. I didn't even watch Wicked yet.
Wicked won Best for Set Design and Costuming.
Didn't win Best Musical though. I don't know if that was the category that they lost, but they didn't win.
It's not a category at the Oscars, but
they lost to
Emilia Perez.
That one, yeah.
Emilia Perez had Best Original Song.
Right, that might be what it is. Yeah. I listened to the music for Emilia Perez. That might be some of the worst music I've ever listened to in my life.
Do you know what's so disappointing about that?
What?
Is it's the same writer of Man or Muppet.
Really?
Yeah.
How could you best
songs. How could you fumble your bag?
It's such a good song.
I guess when you reach Everest, there's no other challenge for you to do.
I don't mind the story. Like, I know people were moaning and groaning about the story, and that's whatever.
I mean, the story is clear Oscar bait. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
Everything about it was
songs were so bad.
It didn't need to be a musical.
They were talking for most of the songs anyway, so it didn't need to be a musical at all.
Let's say exchange operation.
I like Zoe Saldana, and I like some of the other actors I saw. They're good actors. They shouldn't be in whatever this was, whatever monstrosity they created for this. Should not have existed, or should have just been written better. I'm sorry, Man or Muppet writer. You're wrong. You're terrible.
Emilia Perez had no chance of winning pretty much anything else after Carla's whole tweet debacle came out.
I missed
which is how it should have been. She tweeted horrible things about George Floyd, and like all the BML riots and all that stuff. And so it's like, cool. Yes.
Black Matters Live.
But then like Zoe Saldana also kind of got racist in her acceptance speech.
Yeah, I saw that too.
And so
wild.
I don't know. It's awkward. But what I want to talk about, Kieran Culkin won, and apparently his wife is going to give him another child, and that's what he felt like he needed to talk about. He's like, "Oh, I won this award, and I cannot wait to do my wife." Like that's all I heard.
Love it.
But the best actor went to Adrian Brody.
I don't know who that is. Hold on, let me look it up.
Yeah, those of you who are also fans of SNL might know him for doing blackface and wearing dreads and getting banned from the show because of it.
Did he really?
Yes.
Oh my goodness!
I forget what band he was introducing, but it was part of like the musical guest intro, and it was wild.
That's unfortunate. I think the only thing I've ever seen him in is the first season of Poker Face. That's it. He's in The Village?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, sorry. Continue with what you were saying.
Did you watch Asteroid City?
No, I haven't yet. It's on my list.
He's in that too, but you should definitely watch that. He is also the record holder for the youngest ever Best Actor award winner for the Oscars, when he won at 29.
Yeah.
Timothy Chalamet is also 29, and if he had won on that night, he would have been the winner for the Best Actor, like the youngest ever Best Actor winner, by like a few months. And so Timothy Chalamet was kind of the favorite to win. I mean, most people were kind of thinking Adrian Brody might win, but here's the problem with him winning. The Brutalist, the movie about him, was about a British architect. What is it?
Architect?
Yes. I wanted to say an architecturist, but that's not right.
Yep.
About a British architect, but apparently Adrian Brody can't do a British accent.
Oh.
And so they used AI to give him a British accent. And then they gave him the Best Actor award.
What? Excuse me?
This is what I've heard online.
So
now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to Google the scandal right now.
So what you're saying is he couldn't act to play the part, but got the Best Actor award.
According to Esquire.com, the AI software was used to enhance Adrian Brody and Felicity Jones's performances throughout the film. The AI tools were used to tweak specific pronunciations within their Hungarian dialogue.
Oh, okay.
So what I heard was wrong. But also, the dialogue is kind of what helps him be a good actor. So if you're using AI to tweak it, if he can't do it, then hire another actor. Like his performance was hindered, and helped, not hindered, and like brought up, like
just like when musical artists use auto-tune, they usually catch flack for it, right?
Yeah.
Like if they're not a good singer and they use auto-tune to fix that, then maybe they shouldn't get awards.
I agree. And it just, I mean, it's different because musical artists can use autotune, but I don't think if you're going to, I don't think you should use AI in movies in general. That's what the whole strike was about.
Yeah,
I think, like, part of it. And
agreed.
So like,
I don't think you should use AI to get money at all. That's my opinion. Like if you're using AI for just like a cute little picture that you want, sure, that's fine. If you can't draw it yourself and you don't have anybody to draw it for you, I don't mind. Use a little AI. But if you're using it to make money, I hope you die.
It's just, I think it's a detriment to the category, and it just kind of sullies it. And then he went on a 5-minute long speech rant, and now holds the record for the longest acceptance of speech at 5 minutes and 42 seconds, when all the speeches are allotted 45 seconds for accepting. Like,
why did they just let him keep going?
He told the band to stop playing. Like, he screamed at them.
Why is this man getting awards? Maybe stop giving people like that awards.
Let's see if his Wikipedia page has a controversy tab. Doesn't technically.
By the way, he was in See How They Run, not Poker Face. I could have sworn he was in Poker Face too, but apparently. You know what? I'm going to look this up because it didn't show up on Google, but I didn't look on Poker Face.
He doesn't have a controversy tab.
Huh.
But he probably should.
Yeah. I feel like you should at this point.
There is a tab talking about how he kissed Halle Berry at the Oscars. It didn't seem like she had consented to it beforehand.
That's gross. Adrian Brody is in Poker Face, so I was right. Suck it, internet.
I think that's when he won his Oscar for being the youngest actor. Like that whole thing, you know?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he was in Poker Face.
Yeah, first episode.
He's in 2 episodes.
Probably makes an appearance later. I know for a fact it was the first episode he was in, but it might have been spanned over the pilot and the second episode or something. I don't know.
All right. Well, that's all I have to say on it. I don't got anything else.
Well, thank you for listening to us. Listen to us be pissed off at the world again.
Oh, I didn't even bring up the new segment this week. I think we need a break. We'll only talk about politics every other week.
Yeah, so that you can plan whenever you're going to listen to the episodes.
Right. But when you do listen, thank you. And if you want more from us, check out Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Threads to see when we're posting and what we've got going on for alerts of maybe when other shows come back from the hiatuses they're on. And I promise you, they're just hiatuses. Things are happening. You can also head over to patreon.com/@thegarlicboys to help support us over there so that we can get things rolling out a little quicker, baby, and just help us, get stuff done as well as get stuff in return for heading over there. You can go over to redbubble.com and literally get stuff in return for cash. That stuff has designs made by Matt and I on it to show your enjoyment of the show. And you can head over to youtube.com to watch video versions of this show and the Clever Boy quiz, the show. Matt, do you have a supplementary mom report for this week?
That's what I've been thinking about. I don't. Dang it. I was gonna say we've talked about a lot of women, in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if any of them deserve it or have children. You know what? Natasha Lyonne, she's my mommy, so.
Okay. Shout out to Autumn's mom.
Woo!
What's up, niece? You don't listen. Do you have a final thought for this week, Matt?
Dude, this pizza is so good. Look at this. Look, watch. Watch. Is it? Oh, it's kind of floppy. Is it flopping at all? You can't even tell.
Well, on that note, thank you so much for listening. And remember, as always, to stay Harley.
Sunday. That's tomorrow.
That's today when they're listening to it. Unless they're not listening to it on the day they came out.
Losers.